Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Epereka. Thank you so much for all your support. This is part 2 of this video. I'll put a link for part 1 in the description box and also on the comment section. I used less than 2 yards of lace fabric, 1 yard by 60 lining, net on both sleeve, 20 inches by 60 half meter. I used satin lining for both underlay lining and the main lining. But if you want, you can use satin, any type of satin or taffeta for your underlay lining, and main lining you can use cotton or you can also use satin. I used the black pattern to cut out the main fabric and the lining. The main fabric is 1 inch longer than the lining. The lining is one inch shorter because I want this scallop to be on the lower part of the blouse after sewing. I don't want to fold it in. I ironed very lightweight stay on the lining, only on this lining. No stay on this one. This is another lining for the front one. Because it's less fabric, there are some holes on it, so that's why I'm using double lining. This is soft wadding, so I'm going to join the three together. Right side of the fabric, right side of the lining, right side of the lining, right side of the lining. So I'm going to join these three together. I will also join the lining. This is for the back. The lining is 1 inch shorter than the main fabric. I'm going to sew the dart, but there's no interfacing. There's no interfacing on the lining. No interfacing or stay. You can iron interfacing on your own stay. You can iron it on your own if your lining is like lightweight lining. What I'm going to do next is to sew the dart. So, but before that, if you like, you can pin it before you sew the dart, or you can stitch this lining to the main fabric. This is the wrong side of the fabric and this is the right side of the lining. Wrong side of the fabric, right side of the lining. This is right side of the fabric. So you stitch it. After that, you will now sew your dart. After sewing the dart, I will now join these two together. This is zip allowance where the zip will be. I'll hold it this way. I'll put it this way, right side facing each other. So I notched my zip allowance. I will now use gather stitches to join these two together on the zip allowance line. This is the front one. I'll join it together. I stitched the lining to the main fabric before I now join them together. I also notch it and trim off the seam allowance. This is the front part. I also join the lining. I've already pressed it. This is the back part. I used gather stitches to stitch the lining to the main fabric. Before I now sew the dart. After that, I now turn it this way, right side facing each other, and use gather stitches to join the two together on the zip line. So what I'll do next, this is the lining also, I did the same. So what I'll do next is to take the measurement and shape the blouse. This is the front one. And the back one. I've shaped the blouse, the two sides. Remember, it's -5 off shoulder. You put the tape from this way, -5, to get your bust line, waistline, and hip line. Then you now take the measurement, your bust measurement. You mark your bust measurement, your waist measurement, and your hip measurement. Then you connect it. After that, you will now sew on it. So I've sewn the two sides. I did the same on the lining. So what I'll do next is to remove these gather stitches. Why I joined the zip line with gather stitches, so that I can take the measurement, and also when you sew the zip, you will have crease here to sew your zip. You will know your zip line, or you can also use pin if you don't want to use gather stitches. So I've removed the gather stitches. What I'll do next is to join the lining and the main fabric, but I'm not going to hem the lower part of it. I use the savage on the lower side. It's very clean savage, so I'm not going to hem it. I did the same on the underlay. This one I did the same. So what I'm going to do now is to join the lining and the main fabric, right side facing each other. I'll match the seam, the center. I'll pin it. I'll pin the other side. I'll match it, and this side also. I'll first sew the neckline, the front neckline. So what I'm going to do now is to use half inseam allowance to sew it, not the zip line. From zip allowance here, I'll leave this open. I'll sew it from this point to this point. I'll do the same on this side. I will not sew this zip allowance. I'll sew from here to this point, half inseam allowance. I've sewn the lining and the main fabric together at the neckline, front neckline, back neckline, and the other back neckline. I notched, top stitch, and press it. I also sew the zip on the main fabric. I will change this zip later because of the color. So what I'll do next is to sew the zip to the lining. It's very easy to do because the lower part is open. Very easy. Very easy to sew the zip and very easy to fix the sleeve because the lower part is open. So what I'll do is just to turn it this way. You will just sew this way to close this part. You will just sew this way. After that, you will now sew the zip. You feel the zip coil and sew the lining to the zip and the main fabric. On this side, you will make sure that the zip is inside and not on this side before you will now sew this part. So I'll close this side, then I'll sew this to the end. So but on this side, I'll just follow the stitches. I'll sew on top of the stitches to the end. This is the sleeve. It's too plain and it's too plain. I decided to add ruffle to it. I have a ruffle sleeve on one of my videos on how to make princess dart off shoulders blouse. So to make the ruffle sleeve, you get net. Like what I'm going to use is a 1/2 meter by 60, 20 inches by 60. So that's what I'm going to use for this because I just want it just like this. I don't want more. So, and you cut it, you cut some stripe. Like this is 3 inches. I want 3 inches. You can cut how many inches that you want, 2 inches, 2.5, 3 inches, 4 inches, but I want 3 inches. So because I'm going to sew in the middle. After that, it will be like this. So now, to sew it, you will use gather stitches, but while you're using gather stitches, is maybe if you want to pull it later more, you can pull it. So you will now gather or pleat as you sew on your machine. So when this finish, if you want to join another one, you get the next one and put them together this way and fold it and continue. So after that, it will be like this. To sew it on the sleeve, you will hem the sleeve. You will hem the sleeve. You will sew this first one 1/4 inch away from the edge. On these two sides, you will mark your seam allowance. I have 1 inch seam allowance. I marked it. 1 inch for seam allowance. You will mark your seam allowance. So you will start from seam allowance here. You will not sew on the seam allowance. You will start from here, 1/4 inch away. You sew on the middle, on top of this thread, and you will sew on top of this. You will sew. When you're sewing, if you still want to pull it, you can. Then you will end here. So if it's too long, you can still fold it this way to sew the second line. To sew the second line, to sew another one, you push this way from your seam allowance, where you marked your seam allowance, and you sew on the middle, on top of this thread. After this one, if you want to add more, you push it again, maybe 1/4 inch or 1/2 inch away from this one. You will sew again. So now I'm going to fix the sleeve. I'll use French seam to tidy up this edge before I'll fix the sleeve. So this is the right side of the fabric. I'll sew on 1/4 inch here. I have 1 inch seam allowance, so I'll sew on 1/4 inch on the right side of the fabric. I've sewn it 1/4 inch. I'll turn it to the wrong side of the fabric. I had 1 inch seam allowance, so I have 0.75 left because I used 1/4 inch, 0.25 to do this. So I have 0.75 remaining. So I'll take this off the seam allowance. I'll mark 0.75. I'll connect it and sew on it. So after that, it will be like this. So I used bias to tidy up this side. This is the inside. Later I'll tack this lining together. The lining and the main fabric, I'll tack them together on the side. It's optional though. So what I'm going to do now is to fix the sleeve. I'll fix sleeve on the main fabric, side seam, right side, I'll pin it, I'll pin this side, I'll stitch it. I'll do the same on the other side. I'll fix sleeve to the main fabric. What I'll do next is to fit the lining to the sleeve. So I'll bring it out from the lower part. The lining, the sleeve, I'll hold it this way and stitch it with half-inch seam allowance. Half-inch seam allowance. I'll fold in this seam allowance. Half-inch seam allowance. If you have this kind of wording, you can use this hemming gum to gum it or to hold it down, or you can tack it, or you leave it the way it is. So I'll give it a good press. So this blouse, you can use this blouse for a lot of things. You can use it to wear Iru skirt, wrap skirt. You can use it to wear wrapper. You can also use it as Igbo blouse. Please like, share and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.